Today on AGetc, Brad Lubben is back giving us an update on dairy and cotton programs that may cause additional funding challenges as the discussions of the 2018 Farm Bill get underway. Next, Sandy Johnson talks about tools available to help implement more advanced AI and synchronization programs. Then 2018 Stockman of the Year, Sam Hands, talks about how the beef checkoff helps him plan to pass on to future generations. Next, see how gene editing technology is improving wheat. And we finish with water boxes on this week's Horsing Around. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
I'm Brad Lubben. I'm an Extension Policy Specialist at the University of Nebraska, and I'm here in Manhattan as part of a two-state Kansas and Nebraska Farm Bill series that we're conducting across the states to talk about the new Farm Bill, or the development of what is supposed to be the 2018 Farm Bill. Interestingly, we're watching for the Farm Bill debate to really begin in earnest in committee. And one of the things that really had to happen before we could get to that debate is to resolve a major policy issue and a budget challenge for both cotton and dairy. The dairy provisions, for example, come from concerns that the dairy program as implemented in the 2014 Farm Bill changed the ways the support program worked, but hasn't provided as much support to producers as was desired, as was hoped for. And so there have been a lot of calls to try and reform that program. We can say the same thing on the cotton side, that changes in the 2014 Farm Bill to cotton took cotton out of the commodity program and provided crop insurance that hasn't, supplemental programs that were not as attractive, and there was a push to get back in. The challenge is for either of them to get back into and to increase their safety net costs new money. And if that was going to be the Ag Committee's responsibility to find money as part of the Farm Bill debate, then it was going to cost substantial dollars over the next 10 years. Alternatively, the Ag Committee waiting until those issues are resolved before the Farm Bill debate begins, the issues were dealt with in appropriations. And we have actually implemented policy changes that begin this year that will effectively establish a baseline so that these programs don't have to be addressed and paid for within the Farm Bill debate. The dairy provisions, more specifically, is a proposal to increase the performance of the Dairy Margin Protection Program that was implemented in the 2014 Farm Bill, to reduce the premiums that producers pay to enroll in the program for the smaller producers, to expand from 4 million pounds of milk to 5 million pounds of milk, the volume of milk that's covered at these lower premium rates, and also to eliminate the cap on federal funding for livestock insurance programs. Think of the programs, the Livestock Revenue Program, the Livestock Gross Margin Program, both provide maybe alternatives to managing price risk that dairy producers could use, but funding was pretty limited on the use of those programs. This may provide more availability there as well. So we've resolved some of the issues. I can't say that we've cleared up everything with dairy and certainly with cotton, but we've clearly have addressed some of the issues that may resolve the budget challenge going forward. You know, as we continue to watch this process unfold, both universities are continuing to publish information. One of the key sources right here in Kansas, and of course available nationally, is K-State's website, agmanager.info. That is a website that takes you directly to all of the extension, ag economics, and farm management information available that includes this specific sort of analysis of farm policy and programs and payments. In Nebraska, we put similar information on policy up on a website called farmbill.unl.edu, more specifically to farm program issues and details. But either site will get you to some of this discussion of new farm program issues and policy choices.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Welcome to the Jerry Thomas Gallery and Collection, where we feature my renowned artwork, frontier military, and Native American artifacts. In the painting behind me is Scouting the Trail. Two scouts overlook the Smoky Hill River Valley just north of the famous Monument Rocks, which are internationally renowned, as a column of 7th Cavalry parade north of the river. On this point, two scouts rode in a circle, and there were 18 cartridges found up there, and that meant that they usually were warning of impending danger and firing off their weapons. One of those weapons I feature in the gallery, a Spencer weapon, which we featured in the painting. Very unique and very honored to showcase this to you.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Hi, my name is Sandy Johnson. I'm an Extension Beef Specialist for K-State Research and Extension. I'm located at Colby at the experiment station there. My area of passion is reproductive physiology, and more specifically, very interested in helping producers implement AI and estrus synchronization programs to reach their genetic and production goals. And one of the tools that we've developed is called the Estrus Synchronization Planner. You can download that from the Iowa Beef website, and you can also find it linked from our ksubeef.org site. But what it is a simple Excel spreadsheet, and it helps you, number one, select a protocol based on how much heat detection you want to do. And then what it does is put that protocol on a calendar, and it actually allows you to indicate what products you're going to use, because a common problem is mixing up various products that we use. And so if we don't get the right product on the right day, what we want to happen will not happen. And so that's a key portion of that. Puts it on the calendar, allows you to print that out, share it with everybody that's helping with that program. There's also a mobile version at estrussync.com that allows you to look at it on a handheld device. Now, as we talk about various products that we use, it's important to understand that we now have a number of different prostaglandin products. Some are given at 5 ml dose and some are given at 2 ml dose. So it's very important to make sure you know which one you have. And when handling those products, you want to make sure and wear gloves. And the same is true if we're handling cedars, which contain progesterone. All those tools, we want to handle them, apply them using beef quality assurance guidelines. We're going to give those injections IM in the neck. We need an 1.5-inch needle to make sure we get those products delivered. But again, the right dose at the right time is really key to success. Then we think about incorporating a synchronization plan into our whole herd management. We have to think about if we're giving any spring vaccinations. What we don't want to do is combine the vaccination with a synchronization protocol. Modified live vaccines can cause inflammation of the ovary, which will interrupt the cyclicity, and your program might have very poor results. So we need to get those vaccinations given well in advance, and if you work with your veterinarian, that person can help you get that scheduled appropriately. Now, another thing we often don't talk a lot about is semen handling. There may be a lot of hands that handle your semen before you're ready to use it, and so that's important that you know where it comes from, because really we don't want those straws out of liquid nitrogen for more than 8 seconds, or we're going to begin to lose viability of those cells. So that's important as it moves from place to place. And it also is important as you're looking for semen that you want to use for a particular individual or taking inventory. So have a good inventory system. Don't allow those straws to come above that frost line for more than 8 seconds, and make sure your semen handling skills when you thaw those are very good. When you go to thaw the semen, you want to make sure to check your water bath that it's an appropriate temperature. That needs to be clean. All your equipment needs to be clean. These are just small details that should help improve your overall outcome. Now, another issue that people can run into as we're combining an AI and synchronization program with their management is where cows have to be in order for us to apply the synchronization program and where they may go next. And so sometimes we have nutritional changes there that can really have negative consequences. A small nutritional change can cause embryonic loss, so we want to make sure that we minimize those nutritional changes and nutritional stress, and also recognize that handling stress can negatively impact our results as well. We want to use our best low-stress management techniques and make sure if we're working with cow-calf pairs to minimize the stress on those calves as well. They can be impacted negatively as well if we don't handle them appropriately. One other item I might mention then in terms of details is just the planning aspect and communication with all the people on your team. Again, timing is important of many of these steps, and if we have people coming to help us, we need to make sure we're clear on what days and what time we need help, and also make sure that we don't cut our time schedule too close, because we know working with animals, things can go wrong. If you have a technician coming and you see that they're scheduled too tight, you may need to look more closely at your plan and make sure there's some room for the things that happen with animals. If you need more help with a synchronization program or applying that, would recommend you go to our appliedreproductivestrategies.com website. There we have archived past meetings on a whole variety of topics. I've mentioned just things in little details. Essentially, those topics are expanded on in 30 to 40-minute presentations with proceedings and slides in much more detail. So paying attention to details is really one of the keys to apply an effective AI and estrus synchronization program.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but yet we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we'll be glad to answer it and work with you.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Welcome to Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in Oakley, Kansas on I-70 at exit 76. I-70, after all, is America's Main Street, and we're right here on Main Street for you. Now that I'm an Oakley resident, I still come in almost every day, and I sit and listen to the conversations of the people around me. You know, the guys who are talking about the big elk they just bagged, or the folks who are taking their kid to college for the first time. People just traveling up and down the highway. Real people, just like you and me. And they find just what I find here, real people to serve them. There's history, there's scenery. We hope you'll stop and see us soon. Welcome to Oakley.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
When looking at the number of farm and ranch operations, the USDA Census of Agriculture says cattle and beef production is the largest single segment of American agriculture. The census also says the average age of the American cattle farmer or rancher is in the late 50s. In order to support the continuous supply of U.S. beef, these producers need to do some business planning to successfully transfer their cattle operations to younger, independent producers.
My name is Sam Hands. I'm part of the operation here south of Garden City, Kansas, known as Triangle H. Our operation starts with an irrigated farming operation and also involves cow-calf as well as farm feedlot. So obviously the beef industry is very important to us as a marketing tool of those products grown on our irrigated farm. I feel especially privileged not only to be a part of the beef industry, but to have had the opportunity to be one of the original 6 delegates from the state of Kansas as the beef checkoff system was established back in 1986. And as I reminisce back at that times back there in the early meetings in the mid-80s and the early 90s, to me it was very humbling and gratifying to see all segments of the industry come together with a common goal, and that was to advance the sustainability of the beef industry and by way of a product that was going to bring satisfaction to our consumer.
Hi, I'm Marissa Kleistuper, and ever since I was a little girl, I have always known that I wanted to grow up and work alongside my dad. He has been my hero since I can remember, and got the opportunity to come back home and work alongside my dad on a daily basis and learn from him and watch the family operation continue to grow. And the other best part of my day is my 2 boys get to come alongside and work with us and learn from my dad as well.
But more than anything, as I look at this whole program, is what it's allowed us to do as a sustainable program in the beef industry, and it's allowed us to bring future generations into the operation in order that the beef industry might be sustainable for the future. My pride and my pleasure to have my daughter and her children to be part of our company here as Triangle H. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Randy.
And I'm Paul from PFI.
We would like to personally invite you to stop by PFI, home of Boot Daddies.
PFI is America's Western store, covering over 50,000 square feet.
Over 25,000 boots.
Visit Saddle City with the largest selection of saddles and tack anywhere.
A huge selection of hats at Big Spur Hat Company in PFI Town.
And choose from the best brands of clothing and accessories for the entire family.
PFI, located on Highway 65 at the Battlefield exit in Springfield. And I'm not kidding.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Food supply is one of the main issues in the future, and with increasing population size and decline in the amount of land available for growing crops, the stress pressure on agricultural environments will increase, and therefore we need to work on releasing new varieties that can cope with these stress environments. And the CRISPR-Cas9 technology will be one important tool. And you can consider it as a molecular scissor that can make changes specifically, very precisely in a particular place in the genome. And using this tool, you can replace bad parts of the genome and then insert the parts that will improve the gene. The gene-edited plants, depending on which gene you modify, can have improved traits. It can be increased yield, it can be improved disease resistance, it can be improved nutritional quality. And in addition, the CRISPR-Cas9 technology, it is very easy to implement. It is very flexible. And it is very fast. It is cost effective. So essentially, and for that reason, almost any crop or any agronomic crop is now being, resources for CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing are being developed for these crops. and it is becoming quite powerful tool that breeders and geneticists hope to use in the future for improving not only wheat but also many other crops.
Clyde Sutton, Ness City, Kansas. Lived on this place all my life. About a year and a half ago, got to where I couldn't saddle a horse. The pain was terrible. Read about stem cell. First it wasn't for me, then they started doing neck and back. Went and had it done. As you can see, I saddled a horse. I'm still building fence. Love to shoot a shotgun rifle, and I'm able to participate, not like I used to, but nevertheless I can do the things I used to do, and life is good.
The new Better Horses Network is worldwide, presented by Lucas Oil, featuring worldwide radio and TV with iconic hosts like Al Dunning, Sharon Camarillo, Ernie Rodina, Lindy Birch, and Craig Cameron. With American Cowboy, Horse and Rider, Brushy Creek, Cavenders, and Ride TV. Worldwide radio and TV, the all-new Better Horses Network.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
One of the biggest issues I see with obstacle horses is people are having trouble with water boxes, and typically it's because of how they went about introducing a water box for the horse. I've got a little black water box here in front of us. We've set it up just like the other obstacles that are in this segment, and we're going to flow between the wall and the obstacle here. So as I'm flowing through there, if he goes to look at it or glance at it, I'm going to bring my legs on him and bring his attention back to me even more. I don't want to let my horses get in a habit of really looking around. I want my horse to think about where I'm driving him to and where we're at. It's up to me in this relationship to help this horse through it. Every time I let him start gawking around, I'm letting this horse take control of his feet. And he doesn't want to do that. He wants me to be a good leader for him. And he says, I will be an amazing follower. But when we start asking them to be the leaders, they start finding trouble. So I don't want to allow him to find that trouble. So as I turn him across here this time, big release. He's doing an amazing job. He should. He's spent his life on the ranch, and he's crossed creeks and ditches and all of those things and actually earned a living. But that doesn't mean it'll always go that way. You can see he's stepping through really confident. I wouldn't have started with this obstacle by no means, but I'm really glad that he's saying, yes, I can do it. So you see, I spread my hands out wide, my legs are on, and I'm asking him through it. There we go. Big release to help him. And I would get this horse to where when I was coming to a water box on a dry one, that he's confidently going through it before I ever added water. And probably the first thing I'd add is like some cut up hoses and things like that, and I would take it in steps as I'm helping to build confidence in this horse. And after I'd added some hoses and he is flowing through it, then I would ask him to step through it with just a little bit of water, just enough to change the bottom of the water box, and just keep building up so you keep building confidence. That way you don't send him to something and instantly he says, I'm not able to do this. So you can see he's kind of flowing through. I might even enter here and come across, and he's just being real confident and good. And I can't gripe at him a bit. We're going to bring Allison over now. Her horse is a little more reactive than Diesel is, and we'll see how she goes about it. So if she comes through there and she really starts watching, bring your legs on her and push her forward. And then a big release on the backside. That was a really nice job. You can kind of tell that this horse is just a little more tense about it, but she's actually doing a really good job. Looking nice. So if you feel like she's relaxed this time, go ahead and turn across the center. As we're presenting these obstacles, we need to be prepared. As we turn them to it, if she needs to jump, she should be allowed to jump. But what's wonderful about obstacles, just by introducing the ground, the deadfall, and the bridge, and then coming to this water box, this dry box, we've already built confidence up in her, and she's trusting us right now. Trust is the key. They need to trust us enough to allow us to have control of their feet. You can see she's licking and chewing. I'd go ahead and I'd head straight through it. Now, if we had come up here and we had started presenting this and trying to make this happen, instead of allowing this horse time to process around this obstacle, we could have gotten a fight. And if there's one thing I can teach the general public out there is avoid a fight at all cost. We do not want to fight with our horse. We redirect negative energy into positive energy. Let's do it one more time, Allison. That's looking really good. She's dropping her head, she's targeting, and when I say targeting, that means that she's knowing that that is the answer. She's starting to hunt the answers, and we want our horses hunting the answer. Not being afraid to make a mistake. Through mistakes comes success.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.